Good afternoon, everybody. It's not Tom O'Brien, it's Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN headquarters in St. Petersburg, Florida. Tom is traveling today. He will be back on Monday, and I'm fortunate enough to be joined by our man, David White. David, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Happy Friday, man.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, man, am I ready. We are live from St. Petersburg, folks. It's been an amazing week. Thanks to the whole crew here, everybody getting set up. But, man, Dave, we had quite a weekend for ourselves last weekend getting that studio moved over, so I am ready for a little relaxation this week for sure.
I thought of you as it started to rain about every 30 minutes.
You know, thankfully, the rain was not a factor, thank goodness. When we drove over with the trucks, with all our equipment, we had a little rain, but thankfully we got unloaded. No rain came into the situation because that would have made things a little bit more complicated for sure.
Well, your digs are pretty good down there. You're not very far from one of my favorite places, which is the Dolly Museum.
Oh, beautiful. You know, it's funny you say that. I'm trying to just find stuff to do this weekend. They got a beautiful brunch, mimosas, and what do they call it? Mimosas and something on Sunday. And I was thinking about even checking that out this weekend. I've been there once before. It's a beautiful museum, of course, Salvador Dali, yeah.
Yeah. Did you take the guided tour?
I did not. I just kind of wandered.
You got to take the guided
cool.
the guided tour, because they're going to tell you a lot of things in there that you're going to find very, very interesting.
Nice.
But I one of the most weird things in there, of course, is the hologram. Did you see that?
Which one is that? I was there a couple of years ago. I went through most of it, but what's the hologram of?
Oh, boy. What's the guy's name? He always ran around with a snake in the 70s.
I don't know. Yeah. Well,
I'm going to think about it now, but it was the first hologram.
Okay.
It was just a couple of years before Star Wars.
Okay.
And, you know, the part where Leia pops out of R2-D2 and says, you know, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I need your help.
I know the one you're talking.
That was part of that. I mean, that was kind of the result of it. But I'm going to say 1973.
The early age of technology, man, right?
I know the song the guy sang, which was "Smoking in the Boys' Room."
Okay.
Some really bad songs. I can't remember. Someone will say Alice Cooper. There we go.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't know if you remember that, but there was the first moving hologram with Alice Cooper in there, and I saw that and I thought I think I saw that in the late '90s down there.
No, so cool. Downtown St. Pete, man. You got to come visit us at our new studio. It's just a beautiful area, like you said. Tons of stuff to do. They have. I went to one of those Rowdies games they have over here a few weeks ago. Just beautiful stadium, right, practically on the water. I'm not a huge soccer fan myself, but anytime you can be outside by the water, beautiful. It's a cool deal.
Anyway,
yeah,
lots of interesting stuff going on. Samsung showed off their first unbreakable screen.
Okay.
And in fact, I'll pop it into the den here, but I gave it to Alan, so maybe he'll be able to put it into the feed too. But it shows them Samsung actually pounding with a hammer on these screens, and it, you know, we knew the flexible screens were coming.
Yes.
What we didn't have was a something to put on the front of it that didn't shatter, some kind of plastic cover that didn't scratch. And allowed 80% of all phones right now aren't just discarded because they don't work anymore. They are thrown away because they busted the screen. So almost all of them being replaced have to do with the fact that they've been damaged in some way. So this may be the single biggest feature that a phone could have, and that is that you can drop it. Now, it's UL approved, which means they had to drop it from 6 feet 6 times.
Okay.
And not see anything break on it. And apparently it's passed all those tests. But, you know, when we look at Apple becoming $1 trillion a year company, a lot of those phones are probably because people broke the ones they had.
Yeah, and then how does that, I mean, talk about a nothing factor compared to Apple, but I was just in my own head, like the case market in terms of, I have a case almost for the sole reason that I don't want to shatter my screen, right?
Yep.
So because it's funny, towards the tail end of some of my iPhones, when I kind of am already up on my plan, right, I'm already ready to buy a new one, I've actually taken the case off because it's really kind of enjoyable. They design such nice phones. If you don't have to put the case on it, it's pretty enjoyable to have that less feature going on, and maybe that'll be obviously if the screens aren't going to break, man, pretty cool.
Yeah, I was wondering how this is going to affect two companies. Part of that is the case makers. That's ZAGG.
Okay.
ZAGG. I got the chart up right now. Someone was talking about it in the den this morning. This actually doesn't look too bad. I mean, the chart actually looks fairly good. Gapped up back on the 9th of May, did so with almost 3 million shares, came in, tested it with 1.2, 1.3 million shares. Now it's back up. This is probably going to take a little while, but I do know that Apple has put on 100,000 people for some kind of production in September. So I'm wondering if this isn't, them putting this part into their own product. Maybe Samsung will do. I'm sure Samsung will at least have it in their product at the same time. But the question is, you start seeing this stuff out in the wild, it's probably coming fairly quickly.
Sure.
As a feature, waterproofing and being able to drop the thing without killing it are probably the two big ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I would just as a consumer, right? I mean, that's talk about a revolution in terms of, we all know, whether it's yourself or your friends or your family, when they have that shattered screen, they're just so expensive. Sometimes you just ride it out until you buy your next phone, whatever it is. But yeah, that's something that affects all of us. And I could see how that could be a technology that could be one of the driving factors, because, I mean, it's almost like I can almost do anything I can envision right now on my phone. I know they're going to start tying into whether it's augmented reality and so forth. But the screen seems like something, whether it's foldable screens, right, non-breakable, curvable, whatever they try to do, that seems like that might be something they could play with creativity-wise as well.
Yep, and of course, the other company that would probably be hurt by this is Corning, who makes all the Gorilla Glass.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're supplying $1 trillion company with Gorilla Glass for their screen, what does that do to you if everybody starts using plastic and these unbreakable screens?
It's a dicey business when you control basically the whole aspect of what Apple does, and they might change that dynamic going forward.
Yeah, Corning, 80% of what they do, the profits come from Gorilla Glass.
Man, that's amazing. All right, folks, come on back. We got the Dow up 118 points at 25,444. Dave and I are going to be right back.